Starship Rokan Show on 720 WGN, off for another day of broadcast insolence. And insolent it shall be. So much to get to today. Do not move your radio dial between now and 7 o'clock. And I know you probably have other commitments between now and 7 o'clock, but let's try to put those on hold as much as we can. Maybe you can certainly have dinner after 7 o'clock. I have to. You should too. All right, coming up on the program, I want to say that we're going to start with, I think, the best political story of this election season thus far. The mayor getting conned, pardon the expression, and no relation, outside our very studios here at WGN, right in front of the Tribune Tower, when he was leaving that debate, and I'm doing that thing with my fingers, the quote marks around, leaving a debate here at the Tribune Tower. He walks out in the street and is taken for $5. We'll get to that in just a moment. We also have, and I just got to say that there's some people along the way here that you may have heard on this radio station from time to time, but they're just some of the best in the business. Alex Stone from ABC News is going to join us. They're getting ready for the Super Bowl security in Glendale, Arizona, and it's crazy this year, and he's going to report on that to us specifically, directly, and unilaterally. Ben Bradley from ABC7 is going to join us a little bit later on, talk about this really crazy case, criminal case that's winding its way through the Cook County courts here. The guys who own the Burr Oak Cemetery, or ran the Burr Oak Cemetery, it's owned by the county, but the guys who ran it and were doing all that really inhumane stuff with the remains, they're on trial, and where that stands now, and who's defending them is even a bigger part of that story. We'll talk about that. Tom Skilling will join us, of course. And is there trouble for Jackie Robinson West? Apparently, Little League officials are coming in to investigate Jackie Robinson West and their recruiting standards. I have some thoughts on that. We'll share all those along the way. All right. So I picked up our competing newspaper here today. It's an interesting thing for me to say after all these years and having worked at the Sun-Times for a short period of time. Michael Sneed's column today. This is an interesting one. The Rahm Hustle. She writes, after addressing the media Tuesday on Michigan Avenue after the mayoral debate, Rahm Emanuel bought 2 chocolate bars from a kid who said he was raising money for his Southside High School basketball team. He bought them. They were $2 a piece. He bought 2, gave the kid $5, said, hey, keep the change. Now, sounds okay, right? If you are, anytime you're walking downtown, you're likely to get approached by somebody saying something, right? There's people who are wearing 16 different sets of clothing. Hey, how you doing? If you're on the trains, you get a lot of that. You get people who, I love this on the CTA when somebody will get on an L car. I don't mean to scare anybody. Yeah, you already did, sir. You already did. But and then there are grifters. There are the people who your one of your more common scams is, oh, you know what? I was just driving in from Indiana, and my car ran out of gas a couple blocks away. I need a couple bucks just to get or even better yet, if you give me your gas card, I'll mail it back to you. And some of these people are very well dressed. Now, this is a young man who appeared to be around high school enough age, who went and got the money from Rahm Emanuel. And then turns out that a call was placed to and this kid said he was playing basketball for Dunbar, and they were raising money for Dunbar, their basketball program, the uniforms and shoes and stuff like that. And a call was placed to the head coach at Dunbar, who said, we don't do any fundraising. What the hell's that? Oops. Now, what's interesting about this story in Sneed's column today is Bob Fioretti, who walked out behind the mayor, did not fall for the guy. Which is a weird deal. I mean, you got a situation where you've got a politician, he's walking out of a building, he's a well-known, very high-profile guy, known nationally, if not internationally, and a young, seemingly erstwhile young man comes up to him and says, sir, please help me out with my basketball team. Then there's photographers and people always following the mayor. Is the mayor going to be the one that goes, no, I'm not going to do that? If you're ready, didn't care. Walked right by it. But this kind of thing happens every day downtown. So I'm going to rely on our old friend, the former super chief of the Chicago Police Department. He was the first deputy superintendent and chief of patrol all at the same time. One of the very few who's ever held those that many jobs at one time, let's say at the Chicago Police Department. Jim Maurer is with us. But Jim, you also used to run the downtown area too, did you not, for a while?
Well, I had the whole city, and, so the Loop, of course, was always part of it. But by the way, it's great to hear you back on the radio.
Oh, thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate it.
Really.
So the kids selling candy bars. I think the mayor is a very good example of what we have to be on the lookout for in the city, because people get taken all the time by this. Generally, these candy bar sales are like a guy pulling up somewhere downtown with a bunch of these in his trunk, hiring these kids to go out and sell the candy bars, and then taking the money himself, isn't it?
Yeah, right. These are pretty big scams, and of course, using kids makes it much more appealing, and. But somebody's behind it. I mean, if you go to where you get off the expressways, if you're ever driving and you get off like the Kennedy at, say, Fullerton Avenue, there's a guy standing there, and he's, begging for, he's got a sign, help me, I'm a veteran, or whatever he is. And the next day, then if you wait there long enough, you'll see somebody pick him up and drive him to the next location. So, you got kind of, here's the thing. I don't want to tell anybody. I wouldn't tell anybody. I think, the mayor certainly is going to be hurt because he lost, he got taken for $5. I'm surprised anybody got that close to him, quite frankly, even if it was a kid.
But you know what happens, though, and you've seen this a few times in your career, is you get politicians who will outrun their own security because they're running either toward a camera or toward a sympathetic character that they can be seen pictured with.
Oh yeah, it's great. How embarrassing is it to find out? You get the nice picture with the young man selling candy for his basketball team, and the next thing you know, you're on the cover of some, on some website where they, mayor taken by, scam and so on. It can turn around but at the same time, how many people get, like you said, come up to you, they get on it. Some of these people who are begging for money make a pretty good buck, and also they, if they put as much energy into getting a job as they do with hustling.
It is, don't we kind of consider that to be their job? That's the thing. You just have to understand in the great tapestry that is the urban lifestyle in Chicago, this is just part of the deal, right? You just got to know that's, as long as people aren't touching you, it's okay, or they don't stop you in your way. You know who I'm just as annoyed by are these people who've got the clipboards downtown that are at State Street, Michigan Avenue, well-trafficked pedestrian streets, and they chase you wearing T-shirts about some sort of a cause. For something, and then they want to get all your information and say what it is, and sometimes those causes aren't the causes.
No, and I, for one thing, you should. One thing that, especially in today's the way our electronic age and with the internet and everything, I would encourage anyone listening. You never ever give your personal information to some guy on the street. You don't hand him your credit card. Look, even what happened, the thing that happened with the taxi cabs not too long ago. I had a little. Gizmo to copy the credit card, or he took the credit card and gave back a different credit card.
Right.
You have to be very careful. There's a lot of people out there just on the hustle. And by the time, the worst thing isn't that you lose $5 like the mayor did, or that somebody the worst thing is that the ramifications of what will happen later if this information is used nefariously.
Yeah.
You can all of a sudden you find out you just bought a Mercedes Benz, and you go, what? I did what? And have no money in your bank account, or you're charging stuff that you can't believe happened, or you get on these mailing lists that it takes me about an hour every day just to delete the kind of junk that comes in on the internet.
Well, that's the internet homeless right there that are doing that.
Right.
Or I should say internet grifters that are doing that. But what is interesting to me is that you see that a lot of the people that get targeted here downtown are people that are assumed to be tourists. right? Or they look gullible. You know, they look a little scared. They're trying to get around the person, and the person knows. If you look them right in the eye when you walk by them, and actually if you look them right in the eye when you walk by them, and then you mouth something profane to them, they pretty much will walk away.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, if you want to walk around, if you want to look like a target, you may as well put a sign. Hi, I'm a dope. Please come up and ask me for money. I'll give it to you. I'm from Toadsuck, Iowa, and I've got money in my pocket. I'd be glad to help you.
By the way, I'm selling those shirts on Michigan Avenue for $15 a pop. Maybe I can get one to the mayor. All right, Jim, thanks very much. Appreciate your time, as always. The great Jim Maurer, you'll hear him quite a bit on this program, the former super chief of the Chicago Police Department. Jimmy, it's great talking to you.